I am making a Berkey water filtration system out of 5-gallon buckets right now on Amy Preps. This is everything that I need to make my Berkey bucket system. It's pretty simple. I have 2 food-grade 5-gallon buckets, 2 lids. I have my Berkey filters. These are primed and ready to go. Check out that video. I've got my water spigot. I have my measuring tape, my Sharpie. I have my drill. Heck yeah. And I've got my 3/8 and a 5/8 drill bit. That's it. That's everything that we need. So let's go ahead and make this thing. All right, this is the way that we're going to stack those buckets. I have a lid up here at the top. It's really completely optional. It's up to you if you even really want it. I think it's a good idea. I've got a bucket here. I have another lid that it's sitting on top of and the bottom bucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top bucket and the lid and I'm going to flip them both upside down. And I'm going to measure this out, use my Sharpie to go ahead and mark those 2 spots. I'm going to show you here in just a second. When we drill, we're drilling directly down into the lid and the bottom of the bucket. We're kind of going backwards when we're doing this. We're doing them at the same time just to make sure that those are going to line up. Super simple. Let's go ahead and do it. Here we have the lid that fits in the center of the 2 buckets. This is going to be the top bucket that the Berkey filters are going to go down into. So we have it upside down. And what we're going to do is go ahead and measure out where we want to put the holes for the Berkey filters. So I only want to use 2 Berkey filters for this particular project. If I ever decide to add more filters, I can do that. So if I add 2 holes, I can always disassemble it and add 2 more holes if I wanted to go ahead and add more filters. To be quite honest, I think you could add about 6 altogether pretty comfortably inside. You've got plenty of space here. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and measure the bottom. So right across the bottom, this is going to measure 12 3/8 all the way across. So here's what we're going to do. Make sure it goes straight through the center of the bottom of that lid. I'm going to measure 3 3/8. Make a little dot there. And then this side, the 3/8 is already coming off the side, so we're just going to go all the way to the 9. We're going to mark it right there. So that should be nice and even. If you wanted to add additional filters, you can. Just go ahead and flip it around and do it on the other side as well. There we go. So those are marked, and now it's time to drill the holes. I'm using my 1/2-inch drill bit for this particular project. I find that the 3/8 is too small. The 1/2-inch seems to work really well. So remember, we're going into the lid, and then it's going into the bucket too. So we need to make sure we keep that pressure all the way through. So here we go. Make sure that's right where I want it. Looks good. There we go. Looks good. Okay, make sure that's still lined up when we start this second hole. There we go. Now these are a little rough, not too bad, but you could take a little file if you wanted to, or a little sandpaper, just kind of make that a little smoother. Let's see, make sure those holes are lined up. Yep, those look good. Awesome. We did it. Let's attach those filters. So the whole thing I'm going to go ahead and flip upside down. Well, technically right side up, isn't it? The filter itself has this little attachment piece here, and it also has this little rubbery piece. So we want to make sure that is together, and then we're going to put this right down into our bucket, into the hole that we've created. It's going to go through the bucket piece and through the lid. I'm going to flip that upside down. Oh, where's my other piece? Oh, here we go. And I'm going to tighten that on nice and tight. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the next one. There's filter number 1. That piece comes off. This goes down into the hole that we've created through the bucket and the lid. I'm just holding on to that filter. It's a little tricky. There we go. And tighten it down. There we go. It's very snug. I didn't make it super, super tight, so don't use your He-Man, easy for me to say, don't use your He-Man muscles when you're tightening these down. We do want them super, super, super snug though, but not crazy, crazy tight, if that makes sense. All right, so as you can see, just the filter themselves have attached the bottom lid to the top bucket, and there's our filters right there. Looking good. Time for the lower bucket. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and measure and mark where we want to put our spigot. A couple things to really consider when you're deciding where you want the placement is you really don't want to go too low. There's a little bit of a lip here that you would have to contend with. And also you want to have this up high enough so that it could sit flat on a surface. You don't want this spigot too high because all the water below that is not going to drain through. So kind of keep that in mind also. So I'm thinking right about 1.5 inches looks really good to me, and that's going to be right about there, and I really like that. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and mark it with my Sharpie. 1.5 inches, right about there. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and drill a hole. I'm going to be using my 5/8 drill bit for this one. So let's do it. Aha! Perfect. Yep, that's exactly what we wanted. So we're just going to kind of clean up those little holes there, all the little plastic, and we're going to get this thing put together. Let's go ahead and attach that spigot, shall we? By the way, you could go ahead and clean up those little holes with a file or with some sandpaper. That works really well. So with this one, it comes with a little rubber piece that's going to go here. And I've got one from the inside as well. So we're just going to pop that in there just like that. Looking good. And on the inside, we have another little rubber piece. We're going to put that right there. And a little nut. We're just going to screw that on nice and tight. You want to make sure that you wash the inside of the clean reservoir, which this piece is. So whenever you have nice clean water, you want it to have a nice clean home. Vinegar works really well for that, by the way. Ooh, that's tight. Aha, got it. All right, there we go. So this piece is attached and good to go. So now we created it. So we got the bottom part with a little spigot ready to go, and we have the top part with our filters attached to the lid that's going to set right on top of that bottom bucket. Little lid for the top, and that's it. Honestly, How easy is that? It's crazy easy. It's crazy easy, honestly. Now, I'm not going to attach this lid to the bucket. I want to be able to get in and out of this as I wish. A couple reasons. I can peek in there and check the water level, and I can pull this out and clean it. It is going to need to be cleaned. This is where all of our nice clean water is sitting. So vinegar, like a vinegar solution, works really well for that. But make sure you're cleaning this out every couple of weeks. I wouldn't go too much longer than that. So honestly, that's it. Super simple. Our Berkey bucket system is complete. It's amazing, and we did it. So yeah, if you have made one of these, if you want to make one of these, if you're thinking about making one of these, if you have any questions about these, hit me up in the comments below, because I would love to hear from you and your experience with your Berkey bucket system. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today on Amy Preps. I'll see you next time.